What happens when one modern US Marine is dropped into a world where 10,000 Vikings are hunting him? No air support, no reinforcements, no modern vehicles, just one Marine, against an entire army of warriors who have never seen a gun before. At first, it sounds completely impossible, but there is one problem the Vikings have never faced before. The Marine doesn't need to defeat 10,000 men. He only needs to survive. The scenario begins somewhere in Northern Europe, around the Viking Age. A lone US Marine suddenly finds himself standing on unfamiliar ground. He has his rifle, a sidearm, a combat knife, body armor, grenades, a radio that can't reach anyone, and limited ammunition. In the distance, something begins to move. Thousands of men, Vikings. They carry shields, axes, spears, swords, and bows. There are warriors on foot. Others ride toward him. And behind them is something far more terrifying than their weapons. Numbers. 10,000 warriors. The Vikings have never encountered firearms. They don't understand what the Marine is carrying. And at first, they don't see him as a serious threat. They see one man, alone, surrounded, outnumbered 10,000 to 1. So they advance. The Marine waits. Then he raises his rifle. The first gunshot tears across the battlefield. A Viking warrior drops. The men behind him freeze. Another shot, then another. The sound is unlike anything they have ever heard. For the first time, the Viking army realizes that this lone stranger can kill from a distance without using a bow. Panic begins to spread through the front ranks. But the Marine understands something immediately. His rifle may give him an enormous advantage, but his ammunition is finite. 10,000 enemies means nothing if he wastes every round trying to fight them head-on. So, he doesn't. He disappears. Instead of standing in the open, the Marine moves toward difficult terrain. A forest, rocks, steep ground, anything that prevents thousands of warriors from attacking him at once. This is where the numbers begin working against the Vikings. 10,000 men sounds terrifying, but 10,000 men cannot all attack one person simultaneously. Only the warriors near him can make contact. The rest become a massive crowd behind them. The Marine moves through the trees, the Vikings follow. They expect to catch him quickly, but they don't understand what they are chasing. The Marine is trained to use cover. He moves from position to position. He watches, he listens, and when the Vikings get too close, he strikes. A few shots, then movement, another position, a few more shots, then silence. The Vikings begin searching the forest. They find nothing. Then suddenly, another burst of gunfire. More warriors fall. The army begins to realize something terrifying. They aren't fighting a normal warrior. They're hunting someone who understands how to disappear. But the Marine has a problem. He can't run forever. He's carrying heavy equipment. He's exhausted. His ammunition is getting lower. And unlike the Vikings, he has no thousands of men behind him. Every injury matters. Every bullet matters. Every mistake could be his last. Then the Vikings change their strategy. Instead of rushing blindly into the forest, they begin surrounding the area. They send warriors through different directions. Archers take positions. Others search the trees. Slowly, the circle closes. The Marine sees it happening. He knows he cannot remain trapped. So he makes a decision. He moves toward the least protected side of the formation. Then comes the most dangerous part, the breakout. The Vikings spot him. Thousands of warriors begin moving. Spears rise, shields lock together, the Marine fires. He throws a grenade. The explosion tears through the formation. For a moment, the Viking line collapses into confusion. That moment is all he needs. He runs, not toward the army, away from it, through the smoke, through the trees, across the rocky ground. Vikings chase him. But now, the Marine has something the Vikings don't. Modern knowledge of movement, concealment, and survival. He doesn't try to be a hero. He doesn't try to kill everyone. He tries to create distance. Hours pass. The sun begins to fall. The Viking army continues searching, but the Marine disappears into the wilderness. And now, the story becomes less about combat and more about survival. He has to find water, food, shelter, a defensible position, and most importantly, a way out. Meanwhile, the Vikings begin searching the surrounding land. They know the stranger is still somewhere nearby. They don't know how far he can travel. They don't know how his weapons work, and they don't know how long he can survive. But the Marine knows something too. His modern equipment gives him an incredible advantage. But that advantage is temporary. Once the ammunition is gone, his rifle becomes little more than dead weight. Once the batteries die, his technology becomes useless. Once his food and water disappear, his body becomes the limiting factor. And against 10,000 people, numbers eventually become overwhelming. So, he keeps moving. He travels at night. He hides during the day. He avoids unnecessary fights. When he sees Viking patrols, he doesn't attack. He waits. When they move away, he continues. Days begin to pass. The Viking army becomes frustrated. They have thousands of warriors, but they can't find one man. And that's the most important lesson of this entire scenario. The Marine was never going to win a traditional battle. If he stood in an open field and tried to fight 10,000 Vikings, he would eventually lose. No matter how advanced his rifle is, no matter how well trained he is, no matter how powerful his grenades are, 10,000 people create too many opportunities for something to go wrong. But survival is different. A single trained Marine has advantages that a Viking army cannot easily understand. Firearms, modern body armor, military training, knowledge of concealment, knowledge of terrain, and the ability to choose when to fight. The Vikings have overwhelming numbers. The Marine has overwhelming technology. But technology doesn't create unlimited ammunition. And training doesn't make someone invincible. Eventually, the Marine reaches the edge of the Viking-controlled territory. Ahead of him is a coastline. Beyond it, the possibility of escape. He looks back. Thousands of Vikings are still searching, but they haven't caught him. He moves toward the water, and for the first time since this nightmare began, he sees something that looks like hope. A Viking boat. The Marine approaches carefully. He knows he cannot simply overpower an entire crew. So he waits. He watches. He chooses his moment. And when the opportunity comes, he moves. The details are messy, dangerous, and uncertain. But eventually, the Marine escapes. Not because he defeated 10,000 Vikings. He didn't. He survived because he understood something far more important. You don't survive an impossible fight by fighting harder. You survive by refusing to fight the enemy on his terms. So, could one US Marine survive against 10,000 Vikings? Survive? Possibly. Defeat them? Almost certainly not. If forced into an open battlefield, the Marine's chances would collapse quickly. But if the goal is simply to stay alive, his modern training, weapons, and ability to use terrain could allow him to disappear into the wilderness long before the Vikings could capture him. 10,000 Vikings would give them overwhelming numbers, but they would also create a massive weakness. They would be searching for one man, who only needs one successful escape. And sometimes, survival isn't about being the strongest. It's about knowing when not to fight. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, subscribe and join our growing community of history enthusiasts for more incredible stories from history.